I'm your host, Mysticraven. Alright, so I'm going to be farming transmutations now on some other tunes, and so I want to kind of give a background for those who don't know, and this video isn't for everybody. I'm going to let you know this. If you're probably a lot of people this video isn't going to be for. Anyways, if you're not into economics at any capacity or don't understand a lot of things in economics, you may want to watch this, you may not. I don't know what to tell you. Anyways, so backstory. My background was in the financial sector, right? So I worked for insurance companies and banks. My title when I was 19 was equity specialist. Now, equity specialists can do a lot of different things, but primarily we analyze market that relates to equity, to the equity market, depending on which sector, things like that. And I no longer work in the field. But, it was kind of interesting because what ended up happening was a pandemic, because that's what I studied. I studied economic fallouts onsetted by pandemics. Lo and behold, we got a pandemic. Now, I'm already aware of the bond purchasing that was going on by the Federal Reserve prior to the pandemic. And then, of course, prior to the stimuluses, I said we're going to need multiple stimuluses because they didn't address this problem efficiently in these bills. Now, of course, all of this is getting tacked onto the national deficit. Now, a lot of people were like, open it up, open it up, open it up. You don't do that. You want to slow. The reason the stimulus was put in play and restrictions was imposed was to do what? Cushion the price difference of inflation, that was going to occur with the sickness. This is how I explain it to most people. Imagine you're a business owner, right? Take death out of the equation. But let's hypothetically say 20% of your labor force becomes sick with a novel virus, right? Is that going and they're out of work for 2 weeks, up to 2 weeks, or a week and a half, or whatever. But 20% of your labor force now is missing work, right? Because there's not a lot of therapeutics or, whatever. If things can get even a little bit more crazier than this, but just bear with me. Anyways, it's going to slow down your production, right? Demand still is present, but supplies start dwindling. Thus, the price, if demand is high, what happens to price? It increases, right? So when price starts increasing and demand is still high, but supplies are low, we get a supply shock, right? Now, that's no longer, it'll eventually become a deflationary, situation. Why? Because things will resume back to normal, but guess what we've already done? We've already infused money into the economy, and thus wages will go up, revenue will go up because of the demand. The higher the demand, the higher the cost, revenue will increase. Your all-time sales, your profit, how many units you've sold will increase. But unfortunately, profit margins will shrink. That's contraction. That's a contractionary situation, right? That's a contraction, an economic contraction, because all of a sudden we have all-time record sales with lower profit margins. Why? Due to the cost of production. Now. And I find this interesting because a lot of times, people don't understand those simple principles. And what ends up happening, because we had lower interest rates when put the stimulus in, they also lowered interest rates at all-time record lows. That wasn't very smart. Okay, that was a big whoopsie. Next thing you know, the feds say, oh, it's transitory. No, because if it was transitory, it wouldn't affect wages. Unfortunately, when wages go up, even past, the entry-level jobs beyond minimal wage, unfortunately, we're going to see that it's permanent. That inflate a percentage of it. Some of it could be transitory, right? But we're already at a 7% inflation, right? With decreasing profit margins. That's economic contraction, right? And I've warned, before the government shut down, we're in shit. When people are like, open it up, I'm like, stop. Let's go to football games. Let's open up concerts. I'm like, stop. You guys don't understand the damage you're doing. Economically, you don't understand. You're playing with fire. You really don't get it. You keep to necessities, right? That's what you do. You don't pour gasoline on fire. You don't. Wow. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't know any better. I get it. But now everything's starting to come in. The bank reports came out. Profit margins decline. Stock is tumbling again. And of course, I've said to the people I know, talk to your financial advisor. I no longer have a license to help you. But guess what's going to happen when the equity market starts going down? Because the US dollar is going to decline. Of course, though, when that happens and equity market starts tumbling, we see what? Bond market take a turn. There's a lot of things coming up that I don't think people realize, but it's a repeat. It's repeating itself, right? And this is why when you take a look at politicians spinning bullshit, spinning it, you have to ask yourself which politician is the most reckless. Because the more the politician's reckless, the more you want to get the fuck away from them. It's not good. It's not. And I told all of my friends and stuff, I'm not psychic. This is what I used to do. It's predictable when you have that education. Well, some of the experts didn't know because they thought crypto was a hedge against inflation. Oh man, that was grand. That was peachy. I don't even know what's going on here. Obviously, I don't have a tank.
Not a great sign.
Didn't even have a tank on the last run. But yeah. So we're in a pickle. We're in a pickle, pickles. We're in a pickle. I promise you, it's going to get worse. I promise. I promise. I promise you. It's going to get worse. And the American people really have nobody to blame. If you want to blame people, blame the pot. Here's the thing. I'm conservative, but I won't be voting for a Republican for a while. I won't be. I won't. I will not be voting for, and it hurts me because I don't agree on a lot of political things. But I won't be. I will not be. I just won't. It's a pain in my ass, man. Because I'm just like, wow. I mean, we just led we led people to stupidity. We abandoned fundamentals at every capacity, and we got people into a situation that was a little obnoxious, a little reckless. It was beyond every fucking thing that I've ever seen. So, yeah. Yeah, no, this was nutty. Yeah. And, well, like I said, I was hoping, I was praying. I'm like, wow. And then they're like, oh, this is deflationary. Oh, it's stagflation. It's stagflation. It's not stagflation. Why in the fuck are you guys talking stagflation? It's not stagflation. Why? It's contractionary. We have a contractionary scenario going on here. I love it when people say that, though. They're like, you know, oh, yeah. Up on one. The True Sworn. Anyways, yeah, this video isn't for everybody. I'm just going to say, if you're butthurt about it, let me say something. Let me say this for the record. Personally, whatever you view, that's your God-given right. Right? It is.
Come on.
Except, there's only one thing. I know numbers. I used to do this for a living. I even brought it into, like, some of my knowledge to the gaming to teach basic fundamentals. But this is the deal. Proof is in the pudding. It's always in the pudding. It's like, what the fuck? What the goddamn fuck is everybody's fucking face? Fake news! Oh, it's this and that. You know, Abraham Lincoln is rolling his grave. I promise. I promise you. I promise you. I promise. Fucking promise. You know, and then everybody would be like, oh, it was them, it was them, it wasn't us, it wasn't us, we didn't do it. I'm like, okay, did you guys go to Gabe's? Was it fake? Was it like the flu? Right? I mean, did we do that? Hey, I'm not saying one side was better than the other, but I'm gonna tell you, man. If I have to choose, man, fuck that. I'm going off the people who fucking didn't listen to the experts, the economists. You know, it's like, you kind of might want to. You know, when 1,000 economists ostracize you, that's usually bad. Right? That's not good. That's usually bad. Right? That's not a good sign. But why? That's a good question, right? That's even better. Why? And now we got some shit show going on. But don't worry, we do not need, economic reform or anything. It's, we don't need that. No. We would rather have a repeat of a depression. Yeah, we don't want to create jobs in the next, 2 years. We would rather just nip that fucking nasty Build Back Better plan in the ass. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not completely agreeing on a number of things, but I'd like to see jobs, especially government contracted jobs that are being applied. Believe you in me, I pay attention to everything economically. That is very important to me. It is. But these experts, these Ivy League grads, got it wrong, didn't they? Ooh, that hurts. That hurts. That hurts. It's stagflation. Oh, we're gonna be fine. There's no recession coming. Nothing's gonna happen. Bullshit. Bullshit. This is what I studied. This is what I did. I don't do it anymore. But, yeah. It's gonna be interesting when the shit hits the fan, and it is. And I have all the video documentation ahead of time, calling all of this out every step of the way. Now, I wanted the market to fall in October. Why? Stave off inflation, have a shorter recession, right? The longer the market grows hotter, the worse the damage, right? Because it's a speculative market. Assets or equity market is completely overinflated. But don't worry, crypto's a hedge against inflation. A fucking tulip. Not to say, it's a bad investment, but a fucking $80,000 for a product that costs a little over $13,000 to produce? What the fuck was everybody on? What kind of drugs? What the fuck?
I can delay these works.
Small caps getting hedged, and you don't think the larger caps are gonna get fucking turned out? Shut up. Whatever. Like I said, I recommend people get a hold of their financial advisors. Just saying. There's a lot of really cool things coming up. I can't say anything though. I can't. Anything I do has to be marginal because the feds. I don't like the idea of the feds being like, oh, bad Gary. But no, this isn't stagflation. It's not deflationary. This is what we call economic contraction. And usually when you see it contracting, that has to do with what? The gross domestic fucking product. Right, and I said that. I said we're going to see, a decrease in the output, our growth. I even had it even worse, where our economy, if we would have ever, where we would have ever gotten to the point where we had 20% over national occupancy, our economic growth would decrease by 20%. Now, I don't have all the numbers because they took away our capability to see a lot of things, which we did have access to at one time. And that's what I was doing. Doing kind of what I used to do. No!
Do not run like some base coward.
Fake fucking tank. This is why healers hate tank. Fake tank. Yeah, sure. I'll do it all.
Last part of your skull makes the perfect heart.
But yeah, we're kind of we're in a pickle. We are. Hey, but just turn it down. Hey, support your local Republican representative, because they're going to tell you what, take any chances of any economic reform and flush it down the toilet. It'll be great. It'll be great. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. And when everybody's losing jobs, they'll only have themselves to blame. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be excellent. Yeah, I don't agree with everything, but you know, this is when you kind of try to think to yourself, well, we don't like that entire package. Maybe we should try to meet in the middle and figure out something to get a reform put back together. No, not our politicians. No. It's all or nothing, right? Or, I mean, literally nothing, or, hey, well, we can't agree with you guys. That would make us look bad. You know, like I said, you know, thank everybody. I personally can't wait. I really can't. Oh, shit. I went, like, off the whatever. I can't wait. You know, and then when people are going to say, oh this, or oh that, I'm going to be like, oh, what the fuck are you all talking about? Oh, shit. Well. Pull them in. Bring him up. Stop running. I've got shit on me. Well, I hate fucking fake tanks. I swear to God. Yeah. So yeah, we're going through an economic contraction. Usually it happens before recession or depression. And what started it all? Stupidity! Dumb shit! Believing dumb shit! Ignoring fundamentals! And every essence of the fucking word. Oh, it's fake news! It's fake news! And then the other side's being like, we're trying to help everybody. And look, we're the victims. And oh. It's just like, I don't give a fuck anymore. I really don't. I'm just like, you know, shit. Alright.
No. I must not fail. Plastic from history.
Dude, I got the fucker.
It must be here. Keep him busy while I search.
Creatures of flame. Rend them limb from limb. Fire forges this blade. Strike them down.
Get the fuck out of that.
Brimstone serpents, scour the earth.
No, dude, you're dead. I've got other things to do. Now you know the pain. The pain! The pain! Yeah, get ready for it. And am I gonna say shit? Yeah, I'm gonna fucking say shit!
Symbols.
I got people in this game who already are like questioning me. I got people in my real life when I call it months in advance questioning me. I've had my entire life questioned when I call it in a fucking advance. Watch. 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 And people will point fingers at everybody else but them fucking selves. That's what's going to happen. That is what's going to happen. Instead of saying, oops, we fucked up, we made a big boo-boo, and now millions of people are going to suffer for it. Well, you know, whatever, right? Right. I mean, you know. Like I said, live and learn, or don't at all. But let me tell you something. When you feed in, when you believe all the bullshit instead of the evidence, and you ain't questioning shit, well, whose fault is that? Whose fault? Be objective. Question fucking everything, everybody. I don't care what side they are on or what the fuck they say. You better question their asses or their intentions. It's bullshit. So, at the end of the day, here's what I'm going to say. Shit's going to hit the fan. And everybody kind of deserves what's going to happen. If you bought into the bullshit, you deserve it. Take a look at your local politicians and start asking yourselves what's going to happen. Oh. You can't... Listen, resources are across the world. You can't have an economy without foreign trade. You can't. You can't. You fucking can't. Yet, we want to do everything in America. We don't have... Where's our coffee coming from? Where's our bananas coming from? Where's our silk coming from? Get a clue. Get a grip, get a clue, and stop. You know why our shit's fucked up? The people we put in office, who we think are out for our best interest when they're only out for their own best interest, and feed people what they want to hear. Because that's the facts. And notice I'm not mentioning a specific party. That's across the board. Alright, hold on. I think I got this muted. I'm gonna check out the comment. Yo, what up? What's going on? Not much. Toxic casual, yeah. Whatever. Trump was 100% you bullshit, dude. Bullshit. I called this a year ago before the shutdown. Don't talk to me. Proof is in the pudding. We had supply problems back in February before the shutdown. Don't talk to me about fucking Trump. 1,000 economists condemned the man. Ostracized him. He went rogue. I'm conservative. I supported Trump in the first election. I did. Oh, I did. I did. The proof is in the pudding. You guys will blame Biden's administration for what's going on, but everything was already set in motion. That's why I made the videos. Because, well, one thing, it's history. Oh my God, this is history. And this is what I studied. This is what I worked in. What's the chances, right? What's the fucking chances? So yeah, I made the videos for people like you. Because I called it all. I even have it on my Facebook. Days in advance. I was hoping for the crash in October, though. But, you know, can't always hope, but, yeah, it's economic contraction. Yay. Do what you want to do. Blame who you want to blame. Proof is always there. Am I saying the Democrats are without fault? No, because I believe you and me, I'm very conservative. But this is not my party. It's not. It's not my party. Not even close. Everybody needs to be held accountable. Both sides need to be held accountable. Rectification and compromise needs to take place for the American people. On both sides. Spitting this rhetoric bullshit isn't helping us. Is it going to stay? Is spinning rhetoric going to help us stave off a recession? No. No. The economy is already looking in contraction. Anytime you contract, well, you know, usually deliver, right? Something's getting delivered if something's contracting. Interesting. Don't listen to me. Don't. Nobody does. And people will always believe what they want to believe until it's too late. And that's the beauty of it all. You can't fight. People lie. Numbers do not. People lie. And I always go by those numbers. Good luck. Good luck, everyone. If you want to blame somebody, try looking in the mirror first. Because we're all to blame. Don't believe it. Don't. I'm sure I don't have the videos. The economy needs to at least slow growth, a little slow inflation in short term. That's why the Fed's doing the rate hikes. But it shouldn't have got that way. I agree with you. They're going to have to go ahead and raise the interest rates. But the damage is already done. During the Great Depression, we had interest rate of 9%. Are we to anticipate that during the next CPI report that we're not going to still see a lagging effect into the inflation rate? I disagree. The GDP indicators are all down. Profit margins decreased. Inflation's up. Wages are up. Everything was already set in motion. Supply shock happened pre-pandemic as far as pre-shutdown. So we had supply shock well in advance. So we already anticipated, the demand hike, right? We already saw that coming. Well, I mean, not the general population. Not the general population. But, and then we see what? Everybody taking and putting back into to the market, to the equity market, but at the end of the day, it's a speculative. Of course, because when wages go up, when the demand is still high and the cost effectiveness, there's no cost effectiveness now, right? Because people are going to charge more because they don't have the workers. Demand is high, supplies are limited. That's common. That's the basic rule. to economics. That's economics 101. So all of a sudden now we have a inflation that's been actually fueled since the Michael Burry crisis. Most people don't even know that. The banks should have actually faltered way back then, but it didn't. It got rescued by bond purchase, and then now, guess what's going to happen? We're in a moment of contraction, economic contraction. It's not stagflation. There's no stagflation here. Eventually, it will become deflationary, but yeah. Hold on. They need to bail out the banks. Oh yeah, right?
Did you get it?
Hey, play your noble
invitation
dungeons.
arrive?
What the fuck is this? Dance, monkey boy,
Probably
dance.
won't
Yes.
If you must
Whatever.
know, Shadowstooler has rejected me. Again.
But yeah,
Nonsense. I'm sure it's
there it
just
is.
a clerical
Said and
error.
done.
You'll be in the academy.
I have the
For
videos.
sure.
I did this for a year, so love it, hate it. I just want to poke at people to say, where did I ever learn this shit? I don't know. Not being sarcastic. No. They needed to. Of course they did. No, I agree with you. You're not being sarcastic. You're stating the fact. They needed to bail out the banks. Yeah, during the Michael Burry. But a lot of people didn't realize that the stimulation wasn't happening during, like people twist it. People will say, oh, well, it's during this administration or that or whatever. But when I sold the first package for the stimulus, I'm like, it's not going to be enough. There's not even enough to compensate on state side on the first pack. So I said, you're going to have another one. I saw the other one. I'm like, what the fuck is this? You guys, they're not doing what the fuck? I'm looking at it like, this is bullshit. But a lot of people didn't realize it just needed one little incident needed to happen for everything to capsize. Whatever. Yeah, they needed to bail out the banks. The banks didn't think here's my question. Why would you make mortgage-backed bonds, right, that had a payout, right, that high, and all of a sudden Michael Burry shorted the market? Cost a lot of money. It wrecked the banks. It did. And it's like, so all of a sudden, I'm telling you, man, a lot of people don't do their research. They're not looking. Like, first thing I saw, like when I got the February report. So I get the February report, imports report, export and import, the imports report, and I'm like, what the fuck? We're down billions of units, billions of units prior to the shutdown. I'm like, we're in a pickle. Even I knew that. So, what is the thesis of what you were trying to say? Are you saying the economy is going to significantly decline in the near future? Well, what I'm trying to say is, so I studied economics and economic fallout onsetted by pandemics. So what we saw a boom, like Kramer wanted to believe we're going to have this boom. But people have to understand, during the times that everything was happening, we didn't see a contraction. We saw inflation take off during the Roaring 20s, right? But we have a faster pace of inflation due to what? The intervention of the feds prior to the pandemic. So, of course, we got a short rally of a year when, the market crash and it comes back up. The V-shaped recovery, as they like to call it. But the unfortunate circumstance is everything, like, everything that happened afterwards was the opposite of what should have occurred. You want to bring down demand, not keep fueling it. Right? So interest should have been raised, not taken, not reduced. Because now what's that set up the housing market for? Overevaluated market. We have now an overevaluated market, and demand is high because of what? Rates. So all of a sudden, when this settles in, what's going to happen? I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen, but just telling you what happened, what is going to happen. That's crazy. Right. Yeah, no, I agree. They should have raised the rates during the time. Instead, if you're going to stimulate, because you stimulate to inflate, right? Stimulate to inflate. Unfortunately, though, you're supposed to counter the inflation. How do you do that? Rates. But instead, everybody panicked, kept the rates low. Boom. Kaboom!
Prices have never been better.
No, I'm disagreeing with you. You can disagree. That's fine. They absolutely should lower it. No. Yeah, and watch what happens to the housing market 8 to 10 months from now. Watch. You can disagree. The proof is in the pudding. Watch what happens to the housing market. If we're going through a contractionary economy, if the economy is contracting, right, everything will follow suit. Everything. When everything comes back settling down, the housing market, it took 2 years after the crash for the housing market to even hit. That's why it was called the Great Depression. There was a big decline to the default rate after the crash, making it even worse. And you don't think that's going to occur as well? Might be in a bubble, but it's not comparable to 2007. I kind of agree with you on that. I agree with you. It isn't as bad as 2007. But what's going to happen to the newer home buyers, right? If we see a small collapse in the housing market, right? What's going to happen? I mean, it's probably not going to be as bad as then. I agree with you. But what happens to the equity that's been acquired? You see what I'm saying? That's the problem for a newer buyer. An older buyer likes inflation, right? An older buyer who's had years, that they love inflation. Why? Property value increases. But if the value of a market's overvalued, if the market is overvalued initially on purchase, let's say 20% overvalued on the average, right? And that settles back down, now you have more debt than you have asset. You've acquired more debt than any available equity that's available in your initial purchase. Therein lies the problem. So I mean I agree with you. It's not as bad as then, but we are in a bubble, and we have tulips flying everywhere. I mean, we're economic fundamentals are being ignored. And when you lower the interest rates, you're pushing demand and forcing a bubble scenario. You're forcing it. You're initially causing a bubble to occur. Because inflation's present already. The only way to counter inflation is what? Interest. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's going to happen. Hey, if I'm wrong, it's cool. I would like to be wrong. I've told people this. I want to be wrong. I want to be. I want to be. I beg for it. I beg for it. I'm begging to be wrong. I'm begging for it. I don't want to be right. I don't. I do not want to be right because it will affect millions of people. And along the lines, everybody will redirect the blame and keep people ignorant along the way of what really happened. We'll see. We'll see. But I already told people profit margin decline was going to happen. And that's the first. I told people hyperbolic. This is hyperbolic in every essence of the word. And I said, and what's going to happen? You're going to see an economic contraction. And when you see an economic contraction, it usually follows by one of two things: recession or depression. Hope I'm wrong. We'll see. Anyways, thank you. Great conversation. I love it. I love the debate. I love your viewpoints. Loved it. I need more of this in my life. I like debating. I like these type of conversations. But anyways, as always, I'm Mysticraven. This is Mystics MMOs. Peace.